my name is Wyatt Williams, and this is my tutorial alternative for honors. So last semester I studied in Valencia, Spain. So this is Valencia. Here we got the old part of the city. So it used to be a walled city. There used to be 3 walls. The first inner one was made by the Romans, another one by the Muslims, and then a third bigger one by the Christians. There's a park that runs through here. It's got like football, baseball fields in there. There's a City of Arts with an opera house and oceanographic and a biopark up in the north, and the City of Arts. What do you call this? They had a science museum. This was really cool because my apartment was right here, so I was like right next to that. So I would go out and run quite a few days. There was a train station right in the middle of the city. Over here is the ocean, really nice beach. I took a windsurfing class there. Down to the south, this is the Albufera, a fresh body of water right next to the Mediterranean Sea, salt water. There's like special fish and wildlife that live there. This was walled up by the Romans. Like, it used to be connected, but then the Romans put sand there, and now it's like all fresh water. And over here, all these like square things, these are all rice paddies, because there's a special type of rice specific for making paella. So here's some pictures of Valencia of my first day. This is from the biopark, like a zoo kind of thing. This is the Albufera right here, these 2 pictures. There's a club that's like 2 blocks from my apartment. Went to a football game, soccer game, I mean. I hiked a mountain that was like 45 minutes train ride north of Valencia. Here's the gate to the wall of the city. So there's like 3 left, but there used to be a whole bunch of them. Windsurfing and the Duracell Pink Bunny. Not Energizer Pink Bunny, it's different. So I talked a little bit about paella. I mentioned paella. So paella is a rice dish made with chicken, rabbit, and a bunch of vegetables, flat beans. And I made this twice, once in a cooking class and once a friend of mine made it for the rest of our friends. So that came out pretty good, actually. Another special dish was horchata. So this is different from Spanish horchata. This is made with tiger nuts and blended up, soaked, and so it's a lot more like almond milk. And then another typical thing about Valencia was the oranges. There was like special, they tasted so good. It was better than any oranges here. And after we came back from the orange orchard, we were driving on the highway, and there was an 18-wheeler that had spilled its oranges on the highway. So it was like a cartoon. Another big thing about Valencia was the running culture. There was like a race every weekend, and there was always people cheering. There was always like drums. It was awesome. I volunteered for a race. I was like directing traffic. This was a night race, so it's dark. And so that was all about Valencia, and now this is about the other places I went. So the first 2 weeks, my family was here. My uncle has a house in Proda, Italy. So this is Proda here, and we went to these cities, or little towns on the ocean side. After Proda, we went to Pisa and saw the Leaning Tower of Pisa, held it up, of course. Can't let it fall down. And then we went back to Valencia, stayed there. That was my first time in Valencia. Like, we were only there for like an hour and a half. Then we went to Zaragoza. This was also another walled city. And it had this beautiful cathedral, really tall, and had tiles that were colored. We went to a castle. And then up to the Pyrenees Mountains. We went to the Cascada de la Cola de Caballo, which translates to the waterfall of the tail of the horse, because it looks like a horse tail. That was so beautiful. Oh my goodness. So it was so green with cliffs on every side. And then we drove over to the border of Spain and France, and there was these sheep that like came over the hill in hundreds. It was awesome. And then we went to Barcelona. We went to the Parc Güell, the Sagrada de Familia, and a Gaudi house. So Gaudi worked on all these projects. He was very famous in Barcelona. And then there was also these like butts that were pooping. I don't know. I thought they were so funny. I had to include them. And then my family left. And so now all these trips after this are with my friends in Valencia. So the first trip we took was going to Madrid. We saw a Gorillaz concert. We went to a cathedral. Here, if you touch this bear's butt, you get good luck with gambling. And this kilometer marker, if you put 1 foot on, you go back to Madrid. The next trip we took was to London. We saw Big Ben, Tower Bridge. We took a Harry Potter tour, so we saw scenes from the movie Harry Potter. We went to Paddington. I love Paddington. And I have this picture in my house. I saw it and I was like, selfie. The next trip we took, I took this trip by myself to Rome. Went to the Colosseum, the fountain, and then this was probably my most adventurous trip. I went to Cairo, Egypt. I saw the pyramids. I went solo. I did have a tour guide for the days I was there, but I went solo. And this was the street at night. There was cars constantly going, and it was like playing Frogger to get across. Like you had to dodge the cars. It was pretty crazy. And then back with my friends, I went to Paris, went to the Palace of Versailles, went to the Louvre like 2 weeks after it had been robbed, saw the Mona Lisa, the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame. And then went back to Valencia. So all those were like weekend trips. Those weren't like the same trip. That would have been crazy. But me and a friend took a car up to San Sebastian. We slept the night in the car. Probably a bad decision because it got down to like 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and we were sleeping in the car. It was so cold. The car parks, parking garages were underground, and you could touch the ceiling. They were so short. It was really interesting. We saw there was this church on a rock wall. I think this was like a Windows 10 background or something. It was really beautiful. And we drove to Bilbao. So we saw the Guggenheim, the big metal spider, and the flower dog. And then back to Valencia. And then I took another trip to southern Spain, to Seville. This is the Plaza of Spain. There's like a plaques of each county, I guess, in Spain. I went to Cadiz. So this is where Christopher Columbus left for the second time he went to the New World. I had some oxtail there. I went to Tarifa. This is the southernmost part of Spain, or the southernmost part of the continental Europe. There's some Roman ruins right there. It's the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea right there. Went to Gibraltar. Went to the Granada. Very beautiful tiles. Famous for their tiles. And I went to, what was was this? The Sierra Nevada mountains of Spain. I didn't even know this was here until I was like doing research, but I stayed for sunset and that was beautiful. So that was my southern Spain trip. That was all one weekend. I somehow drove there and back in a weekend. And now the school year has ended and I'm going back home. I have a friend in Germany, so I stopped for like 5 days in Germany, went to Reutlingen. There's this castle on this cliff. We had cow tongue, boiled cow tongue. That was actually genuinely good. We went to a Christmas market, and then he also had like this farm wedding venue out in the countryside with a hotel, and so we did like some farm stuff. And then I flew all the way back home. Thank you.